Hey there, Danny here. Welcome to my ramblings. Um, I'm really getting tired of these commercials that keep popping up, that I keep hearing, and it really bothers me. And let me explain why. So, the commercials are about investing in tax certificates. Particularly, they're for homeowners' taxes, property taxes. That's what it is, property taxes. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know what it essentially is somebody hasn't paid their property taxes. They're behind. It doesn't matter how much, a year, a couple of years, a few years, doesn't matter, whatever. So the county or state go ahead and put these properties up. They sell the tax debt. So if a homeowner owes $8,000 in taxes, they're not always that high. It's probably a lot less, especially if you're out here in Arizona, because property taxes out here in Maricopa County really aren't that expensive. But say it's $8,000. All the person that's buying it has to do is pay the $8,000 to the county or the state. And now they own a stake in this person's house. And they can make that debt come due. One, when I first learned about property tax certificates, investing in them, it was in the mid to late 90s. And all I thought was, wow, that's awful. You're destroying families and you don't even care. Then in 2012, I had a friend whose parents, my friend John's parents didn't have, they were behind on their property taxes. They had assumed, I don't know, they had assumed that it was included in their mortgage, but I guess it wasn't. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I helped them figure it out. It didn't get sold. Theirs didn't get sold. But when they discovered that they owed this, he talked to me about it, and I told them exactly how to go about taking care of it so they could save their house and not have this problem again. Well, then I started looking into some of the property tax certificates that were up for sale. And a large majority of them were not in the greatest neighborhoods. They were in a lot of blue-collar neighborhoods. And all I thought is, these people probably work very hard to have their house, to maintain it, and to live a somewhat decent, if that, American dream. And somebody can come in and pay the property taxes. So we all know the government could care less about us. But investors, so if you're selling, what I'm seeing is they're selling courses on how to do this. And I honestly contemplated telling you and showing you exactly how to do it, because it's extremely easy to do. But then I thought, no, because I'm not adding to what I believe is 100% morally wrong. If you, as a company, and I don't care what company, I don't care your bank, your mortgage lenders, I don't care what the hell you are, if you are dealing with human beings and money, why would you not have understanding? Things happen. We're human beings. We make mistakes. Sometimes life happens to us and we get screwed a little bit. instead of being dicks about it, how about go, well, here, let me help you figure this out. And you want to constantly talk about how you're so worried about people and how these people, will get used a lot. People will screw the system. No, they won't. Because if somebody is truly trying to survive, they're not going to take out new debt. They're struggling to keep what they already have. They're not taking out a bunch of new debt. They're not gonna. It doesn't make any sense. If they're falling behind on everything and they're taking out loans and credit cards and everything else. Okay, this person has no desire to be honest with you as companies and work with you. They don't care. And I can speak from this aspect because I worked in bankruptcy law. I was floored when I worked in bankruptcy law. I was floored by the amount of return clients we had. People file bankruptcy this much all the time. Do they ever pay their bills? I was floored. How do we have that many recurring clients? Do you ever take any responsibility for your money, or you just file bankruptcy every so often? I mean, I know it's in their legal right to do it, but it's still morally wrong. You're constantly screwing these companies over. And we want to complain that they screw us over, but it's okay when you do it. No, it's not good for either side. But the point that I'm making here is the tax certificate investor program is you're banking on somebody's downfall, and then you're going to take everything they've worked for. How do you attend church? How do you look at yourself in the morning in the mirror? How do you live with yourself? How do you do that? Because I know that if I did something, and there's been jobs that I've had that I couldn't keep because they were just wrong. If you look at my history of work, there are a lot of my jobs that I had to walk away from. They were morally wrong. They didn't fit with me and my values and my morals, that I had to walk away from them. Had nothing against the fact that I loved the people I worked with. Hell, that's where most of my adult friends have come from. People that I've went to college with or I've worked with. And I just, the company based off of things that they did that I felt was morally wrong. I'll give you an example. I worked in, right after I graduated college, I worked in debt settlement. While I was in college, I worked in the legal department for a collection agency. So I really didn't know the collection part of it. I didn't even deal with customers or debtors or anything like that. I literally only dealt with law firms that we were contracted with. That's all I ever dealt with. So I really didn't know the full ins and outs of everything at that point. And when I graduated, I ended up working for a debt settlement company, which is the exact opposite of collections. And I thought the concept of it was good. Helping people, that are getting out of debt, until I started working in it. And in the beginning, most of all I did, it was a newer company. So most of what I did was just help write policies and procedures for the company. I helped write scripts for the sales department, the negotiations department, things like that. That's all I did in the beginning. And then once I got a taste of what everybody was doing, and I realized, so in a debt settlement company, not any particular one, but all of them, they take a percentage of what your total debt is. They will make sure that they pay themselves first. And then they will then negotiate your debt. Instead of paying all of your debt off in full, they'll negotiate it. And here's the thing. It's the number one way for one of your creditors to file a lawsuit against you. Because the debt settlement company cannot stop the legal process. They have no say over what any of the collection agencies do or any of the banks or anything else of what they do. They have no say over it whatsoever. So if you get sued and have to go to a lawsuit, they're not going to represent you. You're going to have to go and deal with it yourself. They'll guide you on how to handle the process, but they're not gonna do it for you. You're gonna do this all on your own, along with still paying them. And if you are on a fixed income, you're on disability, or I shouldn't even say disability. You're on Social Security, and you don't make crap. They can put as many judgments as they want against you. It's not like it's gonna affect anything. I mean, they can't garnish from you, and you don't make enough money. And two, the worst that they could do in some states would be to put a lien on your home or your vehicle. But if you're in the state of Florida, last time I checked, it could have changed. That's what we call judgment proof, because if you had one homestead and you had one car, they weren't allowed to lien either one of them, only if you had a second of each. So the more I got into working for the company, and I was starting to kind of get done with the policies and the procedures and the scripts, and I was actually learning the gists of the company, was when I realized we're taking money from elderly people who are on a fixed income, who are pretty much judgment proof anyways. And they're now getting sued. And they're terrified that they're going to die with this debt, and it's going to be so horrible. We played on their emotions, gave them a sense of hope, but weren't able to protect them from anything. They still ended up getting sued. Now, it did no good, because if they didn't own anything, it didn't matter. But the whole purpose that they hired us was so they didn't have to go through this. And the truth is, if the money that they were spending to us, if they would have just sent that money to those collection agencies and made deals with them themselves, they'd have saved them a whole lot of money and would have never had to go to a lawsuit. I mean, it just, to me, it didn't feel morally right. And I couldn't stay doing it. It went against my morals. We're not supposed to be taking from the less fortunate. We're supposed to be helping people. We're supposed to be helping each other up, not helping them stay down. Isn't that what Jesus told you? Isn't that what it says in the Bible? Then how do you attend church? How do you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning? How do you live with yourself? Because I don't comprehend that. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I just want to share with you, because I absolutely am tired of these commercials coming on all the time about frickin' tax certificate classes or tax certificate school. Really? You're going to make money off the backs of hardworking Americans so you can get rich? Wow, that's greed, man. That's materialistic. Doesn't your Bible say that you're not supposed to be materialistic? Doesn't it say that you're supposed to give because there's more than enough to go around? Are you reading the same Bible that I am? Because if you're making money off the backs of hardworking people, you're getting rich off of them while they're not getting rich. That goes against the Bible. Goes against the man upstairs. Goes against God, Jesus, whatever you want to call him. Seriously, it goes against him. How do you sleep? How do you look yourself in the mirror? How do you go to church? How do you live with yourself? I'd like to know. I really want to understand it because I don't comprehend it. I think it's rotten and cruel. And I've been watching it happen since I was a young child. I watched great companies turn into shit. It worked for a couple of them. So yeah, I'm gonna call it like it is. I'll put you on the spot with the man upstairs. Feel free to reach out. Let's have a conversation. I'd really like to know how you do. How do you look at yourself in the mirror? How do you live with yourself? I don't understand it. Anyways, I'll let you go. Have a good night, guys. Love you. Bye.